Coming up, how do you hold a Glide mobility aid? And accessible microwaves are in Canada.
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Shaun Priest.
Hey guys, welcome to another Double Tap. It's almost the weekend, Shaun Priest. It's almost Christmas. Have you prepared? Are you ready? Have you bought your lovely lady a present from that there Amazon and waiting for it to arrive? Maybe gift wrapped so it's ready to go? Right. Or are you going to wait till next week and get something from the garage?
Take a breath, will you? No, of course I haven't ordered anything yet, but we still got plenty of time.
Oh, stop this. You're going to end up in trouble again. Remember
online,
the birthday?
Stop it. Online shopping, of course. Next day delivery. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing if it's available in your country.
Yeah, or available near this time of year. Because it's funny, my wife was on there the other day, and she said that all the delivery dates are slipping back. So it's like you yes, well, no, it's this time of year. Everyone's buying, so everyone's first come, first served. What? Yeah, you're the only person in the world who's going to buy anything on Amazon between now and Christmas.
Yes, I will get on that straight away. Sorry, I'm a very bad person. You know what? I am terrible at this.
I know.
No, okay, so I've admitted it. Stop shaming me. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Listen, yesterday we were talking about the Glide, and I wanted to pick up on this because we still haven't really come to a conclusion for Randy, I think.
I have.
A satisfactory conclusion for Randy about
right,
the way that you hold the Glide. Tell me again how you would move around space with the Glide.
Now, the very tone that you used to ask me that question makes me think you've looked up this answer and you know exactly what the answer is.
No, I haven't. Trust me, I haven't. But I'm just wanting to know what your take, because I think it's about, I do have mine. Well, I say have mine. I don't have one yet. But if I had the Glide, when I tried it, it was on my left side. So my hand was kind of down by my side. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit forward. Pushing the Glide along. Is that not what you did?
I believe you were told off for using it in that way. But no, I had it in front of me. By Glidance themselves.
On the machine. Excuse me. I'm sorry, you're holding me wrong.
Well, no, look, let's think about it. It's guiding you around. It's steering around obstacles, right? So if it's to your left or right, do you think that the vision is offset? Its sensors are offset to look what's in front of you if it's off to the left? No, look, you can, I'm saying hold it in front of you. You can have it slightly off to your left or right. Of course, you don't have to be rigidly, make sure it's in the center of your body line, but I'm saying you do push it in front of you. You do not hold it on your left or right side. That is my takeaway. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I just don't think you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly. You're saying just like a guide dog where you would have the guide dog on your left or right hand side. It's the same with the Glide.
It's exactly the same.
It is. Okay, fine. We will get this confirmed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Jessica's got the answer to this, but let's hear from Jessica, who has had hands-on with the Glide.
I was set up.
No. Look, I don't know. I don't know what Jessica's going to say. Let's see what she has to say after having hands-on with it.
Hi, Shaun and Steve. My name is Jessica Rodriguez from Miami, Florida. I'm very excited and wanted to talk about my experience using Glide. I recently flew to Nashville, Tennessee to try it out. It was very liberating. I was able to navigate through a library and past various walls and bookshelves and bookcases, and it was a great experience. I'm totally blind from birth, and mobility is not my forte, so knowing that this product is coming out will help me have more confidence and independence, and will enable me to feel more confident getting out and about more. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Doesn't really answer Randy's question, but that's okay. Maybe Jessica can come back to us and tell us what she thinks about this, because I'm intrigued to know. I think, the way it's described, and as mentioned yesterday, some of the marketing material kind of suggested that you held it with both hands, so it was almost in the center of your body. They've kind of changed that now. You would hold it with one hand, and I guess whatever position you choose, where you choose it to be in front of you, is kind of up to you at that point. I suppose the only thing I often wondered about the Glide, and I'll be intrigued to come back to the guys on this at some point, is when you're using it in that way, if it is off to your left or off to your right, how does it compensate for you in a space? So if you're walking up to something, like a guide dog is trained to compensate for itself and you.
It's looking out for you.
Yeah, so it's kind of guiding you around something. It's also including you in it. So for example, if it walks past a manhole cover, it knows to move you out of the way of the manhole cover, or you end up down the manhole. So
I'm all right, mate. I'd watch your step, though.
Exactly, that's right. So, does the Glide do that as well? I guess that's a question in this sort of process they're going through at the minute that'd be kind of good to know.
Well, there would be no reason why that couldn't be, for the want of a better word, programmed into it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so which side are you holding it, left or right? And then it would give a little bit of leeway each side. But no, I believe it is held in front of you for that exact reason.
It is interesting, this device, isn't it? It's the one that's come along that really has caught the imagination of a lot of people. And interestingly, a lot of people who, like you, Jessica, just said, you're not that, what was that your phrase? You're not that okay with mobility
isn't her forte.
A forte, yes, sorry, yes. The mobility isn't your forte. That's interesting, isn't it? That people who would consider themselves not people who would go out much or be able to go out as much and be safe, to consider this, considering what we're talking about here, which is a whole new category of device. Now, I can kind of understand that from the white cane point of view, because I think if you're someone who, unless you get access to training, and again, we talked about this yesterday, access to training about all this stuff is really important. If you don't get access to orientation and mobility training in where you live, going out with a white cane can be daunting. You had that experience. I mean, I remember you were terrified with it at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, it's something you need to feel comfortable with. I think what it comes down to with the Glide is that people have confidence in the technology. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
Amos and the team there have got a great reputation, right? We have confidence in what they can do. Until we get it in our hands, though, and go really practical. And when I say in our hands, I mean out in the wild, out on a route that you take or the route that you want to take. It's not until it proves itself that we will say, yes, this works, right?
Yeah, because I know that there's lots of people who love their guide dogs, and of course they do. But let's be honest about it, getting access to that can be challenging. Even people who have had guide dogs for years can have challenges, especially when it comes time for the dog to retire. And there's an emotional connection as well with all this.
Of course there is. Yes,
it's such
lovely.
a difficult thing.
I don't even think it's that, though. I just think, hey, this is a new tool that's going to be available to us. I mean, so for the longest time...
It's more than that. No, it's more than that.
White sticks and guide dogs have been it. Now we have this third option, possibly.
Every time you say that, I always think of the Carpenter song, Rainy Days and Mondays. White sticks and guide dogs. It's just like a new version in my head that rolls around. That's just what goes on inside my brain.
That's it. Brian will be sending us an AI version of that anytime soon. Thank you, Brian.
I think it's...
Why is it more than that?
I just think it kind of is capturing the imagination of people who are thinking, I can have the best of both worlds. A lot of people out there, for whatever reason, may not want to have a guide dog, can't have a guide dog, maybe live in a place, maybe rental, accommodation can't. I mean, okay, yes, I know you probably could have a guide dog in these situations, but, there's lots of people just don't want to go down that road for lots of reasons. And, there just doesn't seem to be an alternative for those people who do struggle with a white cane. And I'm not one for talking down the white cane. You know me, I think the white cane is wonderful. I wouldn't be able to get out without it. But, and you need it. That's the thing. I mean, if you think about getting a guide dog, you need to have orientation and mobility training with a white cane in order to even begin the process of qualification for a guide dog. So, for those people who don't have that, there's not even a path to guide dogs. Whereas with this, you do not need that training. Glidance as a company will provide you with training, of course, for that device, and they are going to work with orientation and mobility specialists around the world,
of course,
to make sure that they are trained up on this. That's going to be the next challenge. That's another thing we're going to have to face. We're going to have to face the sighted people who think this is a bad idea brigade again with this. I feel this coming. We're going to and this is where it's up to us as a community to stand up against it a little bit, because I do hear already sort of rumblings from people saying, this isn't really, it's not really suitable. This is, white cane's always been the way. And it's like, yeah, all right, get out of my way.
Yeah, no, well, that's exactly it. I'm sorry, you haven't got a say in this. No. If it works for us, then it works for us. You don't have no say. I honestly don't care what a sighted person has to say, how I manage to get around. If it works, it works. And the reason I say, look, I don't think this is a either or, a guide dog or a glide, or a white cane or a glide. I think, a white stick is always going to be there. I mean, it's something that it's just going to be the core of what you need for mobility
It's
anyway.
the absolute foundation for getting around.
It's the building
if you're
block for
low vision.
everything.
Yeah.
The Glide, look, as I said, I see this as the third option, the missing third option. If it works out as Glide are saying it's going to do, which I have no reason to doubt whatsoever, this is so exciting. Think of it if you go to a theme park or something. You turn up. Maybe you can rent one of these and it can take you to the predefined places in there and it will glide you around. Hotels, hospitals, anywhere like this. This is a tool. This is a mobility aid. Not one of these things, not a guide dog, a white stick, or the Glide, has to be the thing that kills the others off at all. They can all work together.
One piece of advice I would give the company is I think that the key to this is integrations. If they can build some kind of integration capability into this so that, for example, Good Maps or Seeing AI or, that whatever equivalent it might be can get into this device somehow or be used in some way by this device, that is going to be key as well. Because there's a lot of work already been done, and we see this time and time again. Companies come along and they say, hey, we've developed a new system which gives you visual interpretation services, for example. And, we can do this through our app. And you go, but hang on, there already is that service. Why are we not investing? We're a small community, right? Can we just get this in our heads? I know there's a lot of us out there, but the reality is we're a small community. And that small community would be better off getting behind a number of small companies that a company who can sort of invest and put good investment in. I mean, I'll take Aira as one example, right? So there's Aira doing what it's been doing for many years, visual interpretation. Someone else comes along and says, hey, we've created the same thing. How does that help the community just by diluting, by having more and more companies out there?
Whoa. You're saying competition isn't a good thing?
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just feel that there's a lot of dilution in our community sometimes. And I don't think it helps. I think you end up with weaker products as a result of it, because ideally you want to have one or two strong companies out there, vying for our dollar and doing well at it. And competition is good because it drives price down. But if there's so many, if there's like 5 or 6 of these companies kick up, I've heard about this now. I've heard devices are coming out with, like people saying, we're going to have our own network of volunteers and our own network. Why? There's Be My Eyes, there's Aira. Why are you focus on what you're doing? If you're making a hardware, focus on making the best hardware you can. Don't try and build a whole other network that already exists.
Okay, yes. You're talking about hardware manufacturers. Yes, I agree with you. Yes.
Oh, if a competitor to Aira comes along or a competitor to Be My Eyes or whatever, that is fine. That's absolutely right. As it should be.
Yes.
But if you create a pair of, say, glasses, and that is built with blind people in mind, it's maybe integrated with ChatGPT or something or whatever it might be, and then you build that product, and then you try and build a whole backbone of a network of volunteers, whatever. Why? I just don't see the point in it. To me, it's just diluting the whole thing, and there's only so many people who will become part of that.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and I'm kind of thinking about the Wii Walk Cane with the Wii Assist feature.
Well, that's one, yeah. They're doing very similar over there. And again, I don't know. I just don't know why you would do that and not just integrate in with a company that's already doing it. Wouldn't that strengthen you as well as them?
Yeah,
isn't that better?
It is a good point, unless there's some sort of hardware or device-specific reason for doing it that way that the other companies may not have access to. I don't know. But yeah, okay, I will take your point. Oh, on that, can I just say, Aira as well, the integration onto the Meta glasses, they now, is it on the Meta glasses or the Envision glasses? Either way, they have GPS support now. It is the Meta glasses. Sorry, yeah, I just remembered. It is the Meta glasses. So now if you're using Aira on the Meta glasses, it is able to understand where you are and see you on a GPS map. So that's in the latest update. I know they've been running it in beta for a while, but they've officially launched it now as far as I'm aware. So
via the Meta glasses now, you can connect to an agent and they can see where you are as well as see through the glasses.
Yes. Now, it's still using it through the WhatsApp workaround. Let's be clear that Aira...
Which is fine.
Yes, that's right. Aira's not actually part of the MetaView app. But the point is they can now see where you are. That GPS functionality that's still missing, I believe, on the M Vision glasses is now part of the IRA on Meta. So very nice.
So
apparently
I love it.
It does eat through your battery incredibly quick.
This is the problem. Yeah, this is a major issue. But this is the new issue. I said this months ago. This is the new issue we'll face, is that the battery level is just not going to last long enough for all this stuff. But we've got to start somewhere. We can't have it all, right? It will happen, but it's going to take time.
Yeah, but we will get them. We'll have to get them on to tell us more about that.
I mean, bear in mind that we are putting so much onto these glasses, aren't we? We're asking so much of essentially a device which is really built to listen to music, to take pictures, live stream a 60-second video to Instagram, and that's kind of it. That was its purpose in life, and we were sideloading it with anything we can find.
Well, there's some interesting services coming up. I know we're going to talk about soon that may get around a few of the limitations that we're seeing now with Meta AI. So I think they're really interesting still.
Yeah, me too. It's great to see them doing this. I just wish they could get the price down a little bit of IRA. I still feel the price is out of a lot of people's reach. Of course it is.
Yeah.
That's something really got to get down. I don't know how we do that. But
more competition.
Well, I don't know. Hang on. I mean, yes, more competition. Yes, that's one thing. But the other way to look at it is, again, if other companies are coming along and making their own versions of these services, not integrating in, so you make the hardware, for example, and then there's a company like IRA doing its thing, you could strengthen that company with more of a customer base, which therefore brings the price down. And at the same time, you make your own product more attractive. Works with, that would be brilliant. That's just my. Sometimes I think some of these companies work so much in isolation, and it's like you've just
better for everyone. Yeah,
you've just announced the wheel, and it's like, yeah, but we've already got the wheel.
Yeah,
but our wheel's better. No, it's just a wheel. We already got a wheel. Use the one we've got.
Okay, leave the wheel analogy alone now, Stephen.
I like the wheel analogy.
Let's move on.
Let's move on because Haley Mary's been in touch, concerned about you.
Hi guys, me again. Shaun, if
hello,
if the app of your bank is remotely worth its salt, you should be able to access your card details from there. You should not need to scan your card, not in this day and age. And if you can't access it from there, then you definitely have every right to call them up and generally be very, very angry about it. I know I would. Mine's been able to do that for a few years now, and it's very, very handy. Especially since I'm, justifiably a bit paranoid about saving it in places where it might not necessarily be secure. Thank you once again.
Yes, that was thank you, Haley. That was in response to the message or the conversation we were having about you not being able to get access to your card number, which is actually, it is a problem for a lot of banks. I've had this issue as well recently where, you go into the app and some current account banks will give you that information, but credit cards won't. They'll just give you the last 4 digits of a card and you have to figure the rest out. And it's still, none of these services, and you've got to be careful which ones you use because, of course, when you're talking about AI, you got to think about who's being able to access the information.
I would never do it.
No. I mean, I have tried seeing AI on it. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I have. And it just can't read it. It just cannot read it at all. And, I even had, in the old days, when I had my HumanWare Prodigy 20, my CCTV.
Yes.
And I was told when I got it, one of the great things about this, because I asked them, I said, look, could I read my card number? And they're like, yeah, of course. Couldn't read it. Couldn't even see it. Yeah.
Inverted colours.
Tried it.
Well, of course, there's a lot of online banks now that when you get the physical card, there's no numbers on it at all because the numbers are stored in the app.
Yeah.
For security reasons, which makes total sense. And Haley is absolutely right. On a lot of banking apps as well, you can look up your details. I've never actually looked up. I don't know if my particular bank has that option, but it is something you should definitely look into. I've got to say, a lot of these banking apps now are a lot better when it comes to accessibility. The major brands, major banks out there. So, it's a perfectly good point. Actually, Stephen, I remember you were saying the other day, they've changed the way they do it on the iPhone now. When you scan in your card. Is that right?
Oh, yes, on Apple Pay. So when you're adding a card to Apple Pay now, where before you would have to scan the card, and that was always tricky. You know, it was a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, it would either get some of the info. It may get the credit card number, or it would get the expiry date, but very rarely everything. But sometimes it would.
Now it just says tap the card at the top of the phone, and that's it. You just tap the card, and it obviously uses the NFC chip, and it connects, and it immediately imports all the information, so you don't have to scan anything anymore. And you know
genius.
that all the fields are going to be filled out, which is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, I absolutely love that. The only thing it's funny because my bank, they ask you when you put the app on a new device, you have to go through a security process in order to authenticate that it's you. So you put in all your information, and then you have to take this short video, which you have to get yourself in frame for.
Oh.
And you got to read a code.
Uh-oh.
So I recorded the 20-second video, and I don't know where this video is going, right? So I'm like, so I tried to remember the number.
Is it AI or just actual human looking at this?
Well, that's right. Is someone human looking at this, or is AI trying to? So I'm thinking, well, I don't even know if I'm in frame because it wasn't telling me. And I was trying to remember the 6-digit number, and I'm sure I got it wrong, but I did it. And I sent the video, and I actually said, look, I have to tell you, I am blind. Of course, it says, you have to read this pre-prepared script, and I'm just like, hello, I'm blind, I can't do this. I think the number's this. I am really me.
Blind card.
Yeah. That's right. Hold up my blind card to show that it's really me. And membership number 481. And, I get this email back from the bank with this, incredible amount of information, but also just hey, listen, we got your security. Thank you for doing that. If in future you want to do this, call this number. We'll be happy to talk you through it.
Oh, that's good.
Anything you need in terms of support. Then I got a call from the bank, just checking in. Anything we can do for you, anything you need.
All right, too much. Leave me alone.
And I was like, do you know what? That is brilliant. That was really nice. And I was like, thank you so much for doing that. I was really touched by it because I thought, you do sometimes think these are just big faceless institutions, but there are people in there somewhere.
Of course, you're absolutely right. I mean,
that might be the only guy, the only person in there, right? Maybe the only person that worked there. I don't know, but I was pleased by the response, and it's good when that happens.
It is. Well done, them. Are you going to name them? You should name them.
No.
Fair enough. Okay, security first. Carry on.
That's right. I don't want you hacking into my accounts. Right. Let's move on to a topic that we've kind of touched on here and there in the past for good reason, I think. You might remember I had a whole thing about, I was talking one day about cochlear implants, and I think it came up as a conversation comparing almost, I'm trying to remember how we phrased this, but we were talking about cochlear implants on the show.
The Neuralink as well, wasn't it?
That was that was it, wasn't it? It was Neuralink we were
restoring
talking about.
Vision, restoring hearing.
And and someone brought it up as a comparison. Well, Daisy's been in touch on this.
Hello there, Steve and Shaun and listeners. I had to comment on this conversation of cochlear implants coming into the discussion and having a child get one or not. This conversation does remind me of the Neuralink especially. I am deaf-blind, completely deaf in my right ear since I am a cochlear implant user. I had my cochlear implant inserted when I was around 10 years old or so. For a year or so, the implant was fine, but some error with the company occurred in where I was one of the very unlucky 10 who had surgery performed again to have that fixed so I could hear normally and to the fullest capacity possible. Well, what I do want to say and mention about being a CI user is that it's great I can hear in my right ear through that device. I tend to catch sounds that my hearing aid, when in usage, doesn't catch or notice. On the other hand, it's like learning a language. When I first had my implant inserted, and it's the same thing with the second time around with the same ear, I had to understand what these sounds meant. A CI initial sound can be described as robotic, beating noises, weird audible sounds. But it's not until you actually work with someone and your brain starts to understand what these sounds are supposed to communicate, will you be able to express yourself and interact with others. I personally did not, in particular, enjoy that process of learning. Furthermore, I wish the implant was more hearing aid style, instead of having a magnet stick on the side of my head. I love colour, so I'm not that person who wants things to blend in with my hair and such, but you either have the fear of having one of the other parts fall off, either the magnet or the processor, although there are workarounds to make that less likely. Now, with Neuralink, it's pretty much the same thing from what we know of. If someone totally blind, who's been blind from birth and wants to get a shot at what they'd have to learn, what these visual things around them are through some kind of therapy or so. It may be a longer process, but blind people do rely on their touch quite a bit. So in my opinion, that wouldn't be difficult to connect what you're feeling to something visual. Now, do I wish I never had the implant inserted? Sometimes I do consider that. Probably the biggest thing I wish I didn't have to go through was surgery, lol. Though being a CI user is cool. Now, I do wish someone taught me ASL or even tactile ASL, absolutely. I was experiencing both vision and hearing loss at the same time and pretty much was learning how my hearing aid worked and practiced listening in difficult situations, while also learning Braille. So ultimately, being able to hear better in my right ear is great, but somehow or another, I'll have someone or find a way to learn tactile ASL, maybe not use my implant as much, since being blind and deaf does take a lot of energy out of me. Anyhow, and anyway, I hope all of what I just said could be at some use and engage this conversation more, but it is something to consider if Neuralink does become available. All the best wishes, Daisy. P.S. Some side comments. Nebraska is not the coldest place on Earth, lol. It has gotten quite cold in the past, but for the most part it has been above 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Furthermore, another thing I wanted to say and mention is that with the second surgery, I did get quite a bit of money from the company as part of their apologies. With that, I got my iPad Pro 4th Gen a few years ago. I am in fact typing this email on the iPad with the Magic Keyboard and would love to upgrade it in the near future. I'm a full-on iPad user, that I can definitely say. Also, I apologise this email has been long. Hope everyone are enjoying life wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. What an amazing email. And
How interesting was that? I'm
Yeah,
so
that was
interested. It's so outside our normal bubble. It's so cool.
it's
And
still part of it, though, right? I mean, it's still part of it because
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
we just don't think about it from our own, you and I's perspective, because we don't think about hearing in that way. We just don't, you know?
We don't, because we're in our little bubble. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's so interesting to hear about how it works and some of your feelings on it. And again, I think it's a very good, side-by-side comparison to the Neuralink. Because, you know, it's all about learning. As Daisy said there, it's not just, okay, let's flick a switch, now you can hear and, you know, just get on with things. You need to learn how to process those audio, whatever you want to call them, those noises. And I'm sure it's the same with the Neuralink. You know, it's you need to process actually what these new visuals you're getting are. Even if you've seen before, it's not going to be the same as, you know, your previous vision.
No. John's also got in touch on this topic.
Hi again, Stephen and Shaun. I did not think I would have another email so quickly, but I must comment on hearing loss and blindness. I really appreciate the discussion that you had last Friday. I started losing my hearing around 40, long before blindness set in. Initially, it was tinnitus that came on the scene. For those of you who are not aware of this condition, it is a very annoying condition that can be characterized as a mass of crickets all chirping at one time. It does many other forms. This occurs when several of the critical hearing hairs in the inner ear are damaged. There is no recovery. I fought getting hearing aids for many years, but changed my mind when I was losing my sight. I realised my problem was severe enough to skip the over-the-counter type and went directly to the prescription type. I am now on the second upgrade. Don't get me wrong, they were a heavy hit on the bank account, but necessary item. Over the 10 years or so that I have been wearing them, they have unquestionably helped. However, there are the age-related issues of losing frequency range, especially the higher ones. This is why I prefer male newscasters. Other negatives include wind when outside, which overloads the aids with unwanted sound. Another problem is the directional fixing that the normal person has with their hearing. This is mostly lost with hearing aids. There is not an issue when I am in a location I know, but when I leave this bubble, I am presented with a problem of sounds that I must identify. The audiologist that you had on was very good, but I need to know a bit more about current upgrades. For example, I would like to know more about supporting apps along with more detail in the use of AI. My hearings have an associated app that is worthless compared to the current level of information support. Have her on again, please. There is more to this story, but I won't belabor you or the listeners with it. Have a great day. John from the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. And yes, we will have our audiologist back on again very soon. Michelle Dostela was with us recently.
She was excellent, wasn't she?
She was wonderful. And we did ask if she would come back on. She clearly liked us. Well, I think she liked us. So she'll come back, I hope.
Good.
Can never be sure. But no, listen, it's a great topic of discussion, and we do need to have experts in that field on to talk about it. It's also really useful to know about it. And, you know, especially the more technical these devices become, and you have Bluetooth devices and all that, the benefits they can bring to us as blind people especially are, great, because you can connect them to so many devices so we can hear voiceover and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits to them. So it's really important we get the latest information on that. We will definitely return to this. Listen, thank you for all your comments. We're going to be getting into more of those next week, of course. But for now, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about microwaves. But first, let's find out how you can get involved with Double Tap.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Yeah, loads of you getting in touch on WhatsApp as well as on email and voicemail and all of that. All of them are full. I'm going to call one day and I'll be like, voicemail is full. WhatsApp is full. Email inbox is full, which is wonderful. Keep it coming. Okay, let's move on to microwaves. Now, I mentioned this because you and I were at Site Village in London earlier in the year, and we got the chance to talk to a company based in the UK called Cobolt Systems. And they have, we had them on, I think, at the turn of the year, just at the beginning of the year, talking about an air fryer.
An air fryer,
yes, a new air fryer.
Talking air fryer.
That's right, and it was the first one I'd ever heard of.
Yep.
Which actually spoke. Now we got the chance to catch up with Simon Cox from Cobolt Systems while we were at Site Village. You had a chance to talk to him about a new air fryer that's has been launched this year, and also another product that's very successful for them, and that is their talking microwave.
So I'm here with Simon from Cobolt, and I think the last time we spoke to you on Double Tap, at least Cobolt on Double Tap, was about the air fryer. But it seems like you don't stand still, because already there's another one.
Well,
so
that's it.
What have you got here today?
Well, again, the first single fryer was so popular, people said it'd be great, but for a family we need a double one. So we obliged. So today we've got with us our double air fryer, which essentially is the single air fryer is 4 litres in capacity. The double air fryer is 9 litres, so each pan is 4.5 litres.
So it literally is like 2 of the single one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and it's still got the same features of accessibility, so totally accessible and talking.
It works exactly the same way. It's got slightly more in the cook categories, so this one will cook fruit, so it goes down to 80 degrees, so you can dehydrate food. But other than that, it works exactly the same way.
And because it's dual baskets, so there's 2 baskets there, I'm assuming you can control them independently, yeah?
Yep, each pot has its own controls, so you can set them completely opposite to each other or different. So you can cook meat maybe in one or veg in another.
Chips, obviously.
Yes. And the double one also for if there's anybody who with low vision or sighted in the family, the double one has a glass observation window and a light inside each pot, so you can actually see in the pot whilst it's cooking.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, now a lot of the questions that we got after the first showing of the first talking air fryer was, where can I get this outside of the UK? Obviously, we've got a lot of Canadian listeners, American listeners, all over the world. So can you get this outside of the UK?
You can. We have pretty much all around the world. We have distributors in America, Canada, and again a lot of the national organisations in different countries. So you could either look at our website or contact us, or again go to your local supplier, and if they don't do it, they can certainly get it.
Perfect. Okay. And the other thing I noticed you've got is a new version of your very popular talking microwave. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we've updated both the microwave and the convection oven. Basically, the tooling got we'd made so many over the years, the tooling got a little bit worn, so we took the opportunity to update it. It's still pretty much all the same functions.
Yeah.
The price is still the same, so the microwave is $199.95 and the combination oven is $299.95.
And obviously that's British pounds, yeah?
That's British pounds, yeah.
And how much is the air fryer? Did we mention that?
The air fryer the single one is $99.95 and the double one is £154.95.
Oh, right.
So
you squashed the price.
Yeah.
Very good, perfect. So as you mentioned, if people want to get hold of these or get some more information, where do they need to go?
They can go to our website at www.cobolt.co.uk. Give us a call on 0044 1493 700172 or just email at sales@cobolt.co.uk.
Perfect. Simon, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I think I know what I'm getting myself for Christmas this year. I like the idea of that talking dual air fryer. That sounds pretty cool.
I know, yeah, double the fries in there. That sounds beautiful. Unlike me, who seemed like I was shouting all my way through that. It was very loud there, let me say that.
It was an incredibly busy event at Site Village in London. It was a one-day event, and honestly, they could have done a week, and I think it would have been just as busy.
Yeah.
But really interesting to talk to Simon Cox there about these devices because, you know, talkie microwaves have been around for a while.
Yes.
But interestingly, not everywhere. And this is what was kind of interesting when we spoke to our next guest. Now, you got the chance to talk to Bram Caron from CNIB about their brand new talking microwave.
So, Bram Caron from the CNIB, welcome to Double Tap.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Bram, you see, in my kitchen, it's always been there's three essentials. It's always an air fryer, a microwave, and a takeaway delivery menu, of course. Now, from what I understand, you can, or at least the CNIB can help us with at least one of those things. So what are you here to talk about today?
So I'm here to talk about our new talking microwave that the CNIB has started selling. It's something that we've worked on with a couple of international partners to put together. And it's really shown that it has a good place in homes for anybody who wants to use it, but especially for people with vision disabilities, such as people who are blind and with low vision.
Oh, absolutely. So what are the accessibility features here? Of course, we have the audio aspect, the talking aspect, yeah?
So there's the talking aspect. So everything that you do with this microwave there's an auditory component to it where it'll tell you exactly what you're doing. The biggest thing is the fact that there's no buttons on it. There's two dials. And as you turn the dial, it gives you the different settings that you need to go through.
Defrost. Medium. Medium high. High. Low. Defrost.
So if you're looking to put something in, like a microwave meal or something, you can go into that setting for microwave meals simply by turning the dial and selecting it, and then selecting the number of minutes that you want it in. What's nice is that it doesn't matter how quickly you turn the dial, the minutes and seconds, the increments are sort of set. So there's no issues of turning it too fast and being at 15 or 20 minutes when you only wanted 2 minutes, which is really important because a lot of our clients and a lot of the people that we work with, it could be a dexterity issue where they might not have full control over that aspect of turning a simple dial.
Yeah. It's interesting you went with a dial rather than the more traditional, I suppose you could call it nowadays, the buttons, right? But of course, we always say dials are our friend, in the blind community, because dials and bump-ons make things accessible. But it's really interesting. You've gone with dials and also with the talking aspect, the audible aspect with it as well. So was there a reason you went with dials over buttons?
So I shouldn't say there are no buttons. There are a couple of buttons. They're not the key component to it.
Hmm.
So they're the buttons that are on there are things for like setting the power level. You know, it's got a tactile on it. So there's 3 buttons that are just above the dial. So, and so again, one's for the power, one's to set the number of minutes that you want it to be on for. And again, it would be pushing that and then turning the dial to get the number of minutes that you want, and then for the seconds as well. And I think like you said, the main reason that we went with such a simplistic screen is so that we can have it accessible to more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that whole, keep it simple. And, by having just a couple of buttons and a nice big dial on it, it really allows anybody to use it. And again, keeping it that simple, would hopefully mean that maybe people in other areas of accessibility, would be able to have a positive interaction with this talking microwave as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a simple interface is better for everyone, isn't it? I mean, it's
Exactly.
as simple as that. It's funny, I've got a microwave with, I don't know, 1,000 buttons on. It's not accessible at all, but all I need to find is the quick start 1 minute button, and that's all I need. That's all all the defrost and all the special keys for specific food, I barely touch. But the simple fact of the matter is, a microwave is used so much in a kitchen now. A lot of the time, it's just high power for a certain amount of time. So a simple interface is vital. Now, talking microwaves have been around for quite a while now. Is there anything other than microwave? I mentioned the air fryer at the top here. Is there other functions in this, or is it purely for microwaving?
This is purely for microwaving. Again, this is our first sort of step into this realm of creating these accessible kitchen appliances. Let's say it like that.
Yes.
And we went with the microwave just because it is one of those key things that pretty much everybody has and everyone needs to use. And you made the joke about having your air fryer, your microwave, and your takeaway menu. And I know just from experience from some of the work that I do with different clients, a lot of times the freezer's full of frozen dinners just because they're easy for anybody
Yes.
to do. And most frozen meals are, what is it, 6 to 7 minutes for pretty much
Yep.
any of them.
Exactly
And
right.
so a microwave, I think, was the best start, the best sort of leap into this. This at the CNIB, where we have a department who's working on a few other devices, and a few, not appliances, but kitchen devices. And hopefully within the next year, a few more things will be coming out onto the market that we know have been created specifically for accessibility.
Oh, a little bit of a teaser there, Bram. Come on, give us a bit more. What are we looking for?
Well, no, you know what, if I do, my tongue might get cut out. You never know I never know who's listening to these things. So, and no spoilers. I know how to keep a secret.
Okay, fair enough. We'll have to get you back on. So you say this is the first step. So this is the first time CNIB have done anything like this?
I believe so. I think this is really the first, go big or go home. And I think this was one of these things where it's like, if we can get this and we can accomplish it and it works out, then let's start looking at a few other devices and a few other appliances to put our name to, so that people know these are tried, true, and tested devices that we know will work for accessibility.
So have you had many requests for something like this? I mean, what made you even start thinking about maybe we should be the ones to, provide this sort of equipment or make this equipment available?
I think it was just people who call into our offices and call into our help desk or speak with us through schools and things like, and other businesses saying like, what's out there? Like, what is available that you guys will stand behind so that we know it will be accessible. And I think after a number of years of having people ask, what's available, the CNIB finally said, you know what, it's a put up or shut up type of thing. I
Hold my beer. Yeah.
I regularly get people asking me. I work a lot with school boards and students and businesses and governments, and I get regular calls asking me about, what's the best liquid leveler, or what's the best talking blood pressure machine, or what's the best,
Yeah.
scoopers. And I don't have an answer because I'm not allowed to, because there's just so many out there, and at the CNIB, we carry a number of different talking and accessible devices, but it's up to the individual to let themselves find which ones work best for them. Wow, that didn't sound right when I said it, but um, it really, a lot of it is personal preference
Yeah, of
to which
course.
ones you enjoy the most. But I think for all of these things, I think the CNIB, along with partners and sister organizations around the world, have started realizing that there's the market's being flooded with a lot of these things. There's so many different ones out there. There's some that are just really inexpensive and some that are ridiculously expensive. And the thought was just, you know what, let's take that step to make sure that we know the right things are being purchased and built the right way. I mean, we all know of devices that claim to be accessible, and then in the end, people are getting them and they're not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's 1,001 different devices on, let's just say, online stores that claim to be talking. I've been looking for kitchen stuff before in the past, particularly a talking thermometer for cooking. And it says, talking, and you think, oh, wow, there's so many out there. Of course, when I got it, there's no talking whatsoever. It was an absolute lie. So you need that place you can trust, right? Something with a reputation. I suppose that's where the CNIB comes in. If someone's going there, they want to know that this stuff actually just will work for them.
Well, and that's exactly it. And talking thermometers is a great example. Because we go through the same thing of people purchasing these thermometers online that claim to talk, and then in the end they really don't. Or the only part that they talk, that they speak, is the actual temperature, but they don't tell you what buttons you're pushing.
Yeah.
To get to that temperature.
It's funny, we talk about this quite often on Double Tap about when it comes to accessibility, it seems like there's a lot of progress being made in a lot of places. Of course, not quick enough, but progress is being made. And it still seems like when it comes to, kitchen appliances and things like that, it still seems a struggle when it comes to accessibility. My washing machine just died. It just absolutely ripped itself to pieces. So I had to buy a new one recently. And it's really difficult to get any information about, okay, is this accessible? I mean, a lot of companies don't even know what you're talking about still when it comes to, kitchen appliances like that. So it does seem that area which really needs some help when it comes to us being able to use the products in the kitchen.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's so many advancements that you're seeing, but the advancements are in convenience, not in accessibility. You're talking about a washing machine. I was looking at a refrigerator a couple of months ago, and they have all these refrigerators with the built-in touch screens and everything.
Yes.
And they're very fancy, they're very expensive, but they're not accessible.
No.
It's not like you can put a text to speech or a screen reader onto these things so that someone's able to use it if there's any kind of vision issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, same thing with for people with different dexterity disorders. A lot of these devices just don't work for them.
Absolutely. So I mentioned earlier as well, the air fryer. Is there any air fryers on the future there for CNIB? Or we can't talk about that?
I haven't heard anything as far as air fryers go. Like I was saying, the microwave sort of the big test for us, the big push. It's doing well. It keeps up to the jobs that it's being asked to do. I think down the road, I think we're going to be shifting a lot over to the smaller devices, the ones that we get requested quite often. Like I was saying, like whether it was a liquid leveler or blood pressure machines, thermometers, things that on a pretty regular basis we're getting phone calls and emails saying, how do we or what do we buy?
Yeah.
Like what is actually accessible?
So is this is this under the brand, if you like, of CNIB?
It is. These are all of these new devices that will be coming down the road will be branded CNIB devices.
Oh, very cool. A sign of quality, I'm
That's
sure.
right.
That sounds fantastic.
You know what? It says a lot. I mean, it says a lot that people trust the CNIB name. I mean, we see it in our Braille department when people are contacting us for Braille translation. It's like, it's important that people trust that seeing the acronym CNIB means that we're standing behind the accessibility of our work.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And the CNIB have got a great reputation anyway. So I think, as I said earlier, I think it's just, people need to trust and know where to go to get this sort of stuff. So that sounds fantastic. And I hope there's great success with the microwave because, as I said, I want the air fryer next.
Well, so I'll put a bug in the ear of my colleague who looks after that department, and maybe next year we'll be meeting again talking about an air fryer.
I hope so. So if anyone's interested, how much is the talking microwave from CNIB?
So the talking microwave right now is $399.
Okay.
And we're shipping anywhere across Canada. And if someone's interested in an international purchase, I'm going to say this, but I would have to check. But I do believe a number of our partners, our international partners, are selling the same microwave as well.
Oh, perfect. And if people want more information, where can they go?
The best thing to do would be to go to our website. So CNIBsmartlife.ca. SmartLife is the name of our CNIB direct-to-consumer department. So all one word, CNIBsmartlife.ca. And you'd be able to find all the information on there. And if you have other questions through the CNIB website, you can reach out to either myself or to our contact desk, and they'll be able to answer any questions you have. Like, you could also, if you're within Canada, go to any CNIB office, and they all have the microwave set up. So if you want to try them or see them to see if it's right for you,
hands-on.
Every CNIB office has a microwave, probably right in the lobby or sitting in the break room, ready to warm up coffee and lunches.
That's perfect. Bram, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon with the next thing, the next big accessible thing.
It's my pleasure, and as soon as I can, we will reach out and let you know, and we can set something up.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Bram.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
You tried to get information out of him. It wasn't for telling you anymore.
Oh, I know.
The microwave. But that is big news that the CNIB now has its own talking microwave out there. And he mentioned that international partners are selling this as well. This is, I believe, the same microphone that RNIB in the UK sell.
Microwave.
So, yes. What did I say?
Microphone.
Did I say microphone?
You're so DJ.
Wow, microphones on the brain. No, microwave. I don't think CNIB has its own branded talking microphone.
I want one.
That'd be kind of cool, though, right? But is that AI in the future? Just talking microphones who just talk for themselves, and we just sit here and listen?
That'd be beautiful. Yeah, no, it is cool though, right? As I said there, it's good that people have got somewhere to go, and. CNIB, as I said, have got a great reputation, and now they've got their own products. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's great to see this market develop. We need to see more of these kind of things appear. And it's interesting with the washing machine. I have to ask though, what on earth caused your washing machine to rip itself to pieces?
Do you know what?
What did you put in it?
Well, clothes, funnily enough.
Dishes?
But it's... I don't know what happened. Usually the door sill is the thing that comes off. Maybe I got some clothes caught in it or something. So I wasn't too worried. But then when I put my hand in, there was all wires and tubes all falling out of the inside of it. It absolutely just ripped itself to pieces. So that went straight out and I got a fresh one.
I think you got it mixed up with a dishwasher.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Perhaps I had a brick in my pocket or something that I forgot to take out. Never mind headphones.
With you, that would not be a surprise because I know what you're like. The stuff you carry around in your pockets, it would not surprise me.
Who knows?
Set of keys or something in there. You're not thinking of these things, do you? But that would destroy a washing machine. Well, there you
don't
go.
go on about it. It costs money.
So did you get an accessible one in the end?
No, I got the cheapest one I could possibly get. Totally inaccessible. But hey ho, be my eyes and the kids. I make it work. Yes. Yeah, bump
tactile marking.
It's just touch sensitive things are just so awful, aren't they? It's just terrible. But hey, it was cheap.
It's hard. Actually, sometimes you're better buying the cheaper ones because they've got the physical buttons still on there. That's classed as cheap now, but actually for us, it's very accessible.
Well, and of course, the dials, the old-fashioned clickable dials, where you can just stick a bump onto where it should be, and we can make that work. But they're very rare now. It is either touch-sensitive areas, which you have no idea, and it's just hard work.
Get away from my touch-sensitive areas, I say.
Earth.
Right, that's it. We're out of time.
Please. Let's finish.
Thank you, as always, for your emails. We will get into more of those next week on the show. Some great conversations coming up as we head up to Christmas and the holidays. We'll tell you also what our schedule is over the holidays as well. A little bit of a spoiler here. Not much. Yeah, we're taking a break, but we'll tell you more about that next week. And have a great weekend. Shaun, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.